Good Morning America. Church massacre in Texas.
We have 6 ambulances en route.
A gunman in tactical gear armed with an assault rifle storming in during the service, opening fire, killing at least 26 in one of the worst mass shootings ever.
That church is my family. And there's so many that are gone.
The victims in this small, tight-knit town as young as 5 years old. One of them, the pastor's 14-year-old daughter. Now, one of the men who helped finally stop the gunman is here exclusively on GMA.
Also this morning, new details about the shooter, a 26-year-old former service member and father discharged from the military for domestic violence. His family reveals more about his past as President Trump calls the killer deranged.
Mental health is the problem here. This isn't a guns situation.
Reaction now coming into those comments as the devastated community mourns the victims in this latest mass shooting. A special edition of Good Morning America starts now.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And Good Morning America, here we are again. Another week, another mass shooting in America. We have seen them in offices and schools. We've seen them in concerts and movie theaters, Walmarts and Starbucks. This time, the killer and his gun entered a small church in a small town in Texas.
You are looking live at the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, where worshipers were gunned down, as you know, during a Sunday morning service. Much like this one that was recorded in the church last week, the pastor was out of town yesterday with his wife, but their 14-year-old daughter was one of the victims. The few images we have of the church show just how small it is, really nowhere to hide. A tiny church. Here is what we know right now. At least 26 people killed, 20 injured. The shooter, who died after a car chase, was 26 years old. He had served in the Air Force but was court-martialed for assaulting his wife and child, then discharged for bad conduct in 2014. One of the big questions, given that record, how did he buy a gun? That is the big question. President Trump has ordered the flag to be flown at half-staff until Thursday night to honor the victims. Our team is on the ground with breaking developments overnight. Amy Robach starts us off in Sutherland Springs. Good morning, Amy.
Hey, good morning to you, Robin. This town, about a 30-minute drive from San Antonio, is in complete shock and mourning today. This community is a close-knit, small community where everyone knows everyone, and they are all dealing with an unthinkable loss of life. Nearly every person in this town of about 600 knows someone who was either killed or injured in yesterday's horrific attack at the First Baptist Church. This morning, 26 killed and 20 others wounded in what is now the deadliest shooting in Texas history.
We have 6 ambulances en route.
According to investigators, around 11:20 a.m. local time, the attacker, identified by authorities as 26-year-old Devin Patrick Kelly, parked his car at this gas station before walking across the street to First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Texas.
He had a face mask on, so I couldn't identify him or anything, and he had what looked like body armor or vest on.
The masked gunman opening fire outside the church during a morning worship session.
He was just shooting the church from the outside. He was going from the face of the church around to the side, and he kept just unloading.
Witnesses living nearby say he unloaded at least 3 clips before making his way inside.
He then opens the church and goes in. I kept hearing gunshots. I'd say probably 2 to 3 clips he unloaded while inside there.
You can see just how small the church is from these photos taken at an earlier date. Barely any space to hide. The youngest killed, just 5 years old. The oldest, 72.
As he exited the church, a local resident grabbed his rifle and engaged that suspect.
The armed resident jumping in fellow neighbor Johnny Langendorf's truck, the two chasing after the suspect who fled the scene by car until the gunman crashed just over 10 miles away at the Wilson-Guadalupe County line.
He ran off the roadway and crashed out and was found deceased in his vehicle. At this time, we don't know if it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound or if he was shot by our local resident. There were multiple weapons in the vehicle.
This morning, officials not yet ready to discuss a motive. ATF and FBI on the scene assisting local law enforcement, combing through a small 400-people tight-knit community, now in tears.
It's another census act by a cowardly bastard is all I can tell you. There's no reason for it, but that's the world we live in today.
Just thinking about my own kids. It could have been us.
In a town with just 2 gas stations, a community center, and a post office, the First Baptist Church is truly the heart of this community. And now, as you can see behind me, it has been turned into an ongoing crime scene where local and federal authorities are trying to figure out why the gunman chose this out-of-the-way, sleepy town where neighbors help one another, where no one locked their doors, and chose a place of worship to commit his heinous act of violence. So many questions and so much heartbreak here, Robin.
Oh, absolutely, Amy, thank you. And just moments ago, I spoke exclusively with Johnny Langendorf. He is the hero who helped chase down the shooter after that massacre. I asked him to tell us what happened the moment he spotted the gunman.
I had parked at the intersection where I had seen the shooter come out from the church, and a gentleman, the neighbor of the church, had come out yielding a rifle, and the 2 men started exchanging gunfire. From there, the shooter jumped in his vehicle where he had the door open and the engine running, ready to go, and fled the scene. At that time, the neighbor with the rifle came to my truck, and he opened my door and said he just shot up the church and got in. And he said chase him, and so that's what I did. I just chased him.
And tell us about the high-speed chase. How fast were you going, and was any gunfire exchange during the pursuit?
No, ma'am. Thankfully, there was no gunfire exchange, but I was doing around 90, 95, going down 539 northbound while I was on the phone with dispatch trying to lead them to where he was, or the direction he was going, because it seemed everybody had headed up to the church, and I'm not sure if anybody really realized that he had left and gone that direction. So you were on the phone and you were telling them where you were, and how were you able to keep so calm, Johnny? It's just one of those things. It was a act now, ask questions later kind of deal. It wasn't, it wasn't something that I needed to freak out about. The situation was in a sense under control, so, and as long as I'm behind the wheel, I'm perfectly fine, so.
Well, we're glad that you are fine. And tell us what happened at the end of the chase. How did it end?
The gentleman seemed to lose control of his vehicle, and he kind of started veering all over the place until he took out one road sign, and then from there he hit the guardrail and then hit the bar ditch. And at that moment, I stopped probably 25 yards from him, within a safe distance to where the gentleman who was riding with me could get his rifle on him, using my truck for protection, and still have a clear shot, but also be at a safe enough distance to where if he came out with a pistol or something, it wouldn't be as accurate.
Hey, Johnny, did you ever see the shooter? Did you see any signs of life in the truck after it crashed?
No, ma'am, I sure did not. Once we stopped, the gentleman got out, mounted his rifle on my hood, and the shooter did not get out of his vehicle after that.
And Johnny, I have to ask you again, how did you have the presence of mind to be able to do this? This neighbor jumps in with a rifle, you're chasing someone who has just shot up a church. Just try and help us understand where your presence of mind and how you were able to do that.
The gentleman who got in my truck, he had just said all he really got out was he just shot up the church, follow him, and that's enough for me to do anything.
What can you tell people about that small town?
From what I've learned just in the last 24 hours or so is that it's a great little community. There's definitely a lot of love and definitely a lot of care here. So many people are pitching in, especially not just here, but from all over the state of Texas. And I'm not sure about other places yet, but I know our bigger cities in Texas and stuff are all stepping up to help everybody and, try and make this uneasy situation as easy as possible for the families and everyone involved. And it's great to see everybody coming together and helping everybody out.
Well, I hope that you and everyone in that town, I hope you feel the love and the support and the many prayers, Johnny.
Yes, ma'am.
And we continue to think of the many families that are affected.
We do. We're learning much more about them and the victims this morning. Children, parents, and grandparents gathered together in worship, remembered at a candlelight vigil outside the church overnight. And our senior national correspondent, Matt Gutman, is on the scene with their stories. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, George. This morning, at least 15 victims remain hospitalized, some of them in critical condition. And it's almost impossible to comprehend the cataclysm that befell this small town. And you're pretty much looking at it, a stoplight, a post office, 2 gas stations. And when you think about the numbers here, the equivalent of 10% of the entire community killed or wounded in that church.
14-year-old Annabelle Renee Pomeroy was the youngest daughter of the pastor of the First Baptist Church. Her father, Pastor Frank Pomeroy, telling ABC News that his daughter was one very beautiful, special child. Pomeroy, seen here in a recent clip, was out of town at the time of the shooting. He was racing back from a trip to Oklahoma to tend to all the victims, telling ABC News all of those hurt and killed were his close friends.
And God, may your will be done with it.
In a town whose population could fit in a banquet hall, everybody knew somebody who had perished.
Everybody knows everybody. Either you went to school together, church. Everybody knows everybody.
Congregants telling ABC News entire families in this tiny Texas town of a single stoplight were mowed down. So many of them were young. The youngest victims, 5-year-old brother and sister Brooke and Ryland Ward. Brooke and Ryland's mother were killed. Ryland is fighting for his life in a local hospital this morning. Several members of the church's youth group also believed to be killed.
You were in the youth group, and there were 12, 13, 14 of you.
Yeah, and I knew all of them.
And now 5 of them are gone.
Yeah, I know. It's heartbreaking. That church is my family, and there's so many that are gone. It hurts so much.
And we learned this morning that among the other victims killed was 51-year-old Richard Rodriguez. Just a stone's throw from that church, hundreds gathered at this candlelight vigil, sharing words of comfort and embraces. Among them, Governor Greg Abbott. Officials announced that 26 people were shot dead, 20 injured. About 100 people attend church each Sunday, which means roughly half the people in the church were killed or wounded. The victims ranging in age from 5 to 72 years old.
Grab your loved ones, grab your family, even if you're enemies. Take them close to you and love them.
Now, forensics teams have been working that church all night long, and the names of many of the victims have still not been identified. But a pastor here in this community told us that the source of strength here will actually be the community's small size. They will come together, sustained by their faith. Robin.
That we pray for. All right, Matt, thank you. A clear picture of the gunman is now emerging. A 26-year-old father who received a bad conduct discharge from the Air Force. Investigators searching his home and social media accounts for clues about his past and motive. Our senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas is in Washington with more on what they've learned. Good morning, Pierre.
Robin, good morning. Overnight, police continue to look for ties between the suspect and the church, including if he had family members that attended. But the picture emerging is of a man with a troubled past whose simmering anger about religion exploded in a massacre at a house of worship. The suspect identified to ABC News as Devin Kelly, 26, seen here in this Facebook photo, a former member of the U.S. Air Force. The man who appeared at this Texas church armed to the teeth and ready to commit mass murder.
The suspect dropped his rifle, which was a Ruger AR assault type rifle. There were multiple weapons in the vehicle.
Kelly posting a picture of an assault rifle on his Facebook page. He was dressed in black, wearing a bulletproof vest, shooting innocent victims at close range in that tiny church. Based on these images from inside the church taken 2 weeks ago, you can see the parishioners had nowhere to hide and little chance of escape. Overnight, the FBI and local police descending on Kelly's home in New Braunfels, Texas, outside of San Antonio. Neighbors expressing shock.
Not a clue. I mean, no indication. To me, I mean, just regular old people.
Those who lived near Kelly say he liked to shoot his guns, including at odd times.
We hear a lot of gunfire, and a lot of times at night. And I mean, we're out in the country, it's fine, shoot your guns, but not at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Kelly here in this LinkedIn photo appears to have anger issues. After serving a year in prison following a court-martial for an assault on his spouse and 11-month-old child, Kelly received a bad conduct discharge from the Air Force in 2014. A family member telling ABC News last night that the former volunteer at Vacation Bible School is now an atheist who doesn't like church. And a former classmate tells ABC News he hated religious people. And that social media post from yesterday showed he was in a bad place.
Pierre, there are so many questions. With his conviction and with his discharge from the military, how in the world was he able to buy a gun?
Robin, in theory, someone with a domestic violence conviction should have been banned from buying a gun. But sources tell ABC News that Kelly's domestic violence conviction may not have been entered into the FBI national database for gun background checks. If that's true, authorities will want to know why, Robin.
All right, Pierre.
And that database has not been well funded. As we said, the president has ordered the White House flag to be flown at half-staff, and he weighed in on the Texas shooting overnight, sounding his now familiar message that mental health, not guns, are to blame. He spoke from Japan, the first stop on his trip to Asia, and our senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega is with him in Tokyo. Good morning, Cecilia.
George, good morning to you. He also called that shooting in Texas an act of evil, but today he said it is not the time to talk gun control. The deadly church shooting in Texas overshadowing President Trump's Tokyo tour.
So sad. Sutherland Springs, Texas, such a beautiful, wonderful area with incredible people. Who would ever think a thing like this could happen?
At a joint press conference with Japan's prime minister, the president offered his condolences while calling the shooting a mental health problem at the highest level.
Mental health is your problem here. This was a very, based on preliminary reports, very deranged individual. But this isn't a guns situation. I mean, we could go into it, but it's a little bit soon to go into it.
Too soon to talk gun control. He said the same thing in the wake of last month's Las Vegas massacre, despite his immediate call for changes in immigration policy in the wake of last week's truck rampage in New York City. What he is willing to talk about here on this 5-country Asian tour, North Korea. President Trump not ruling out military action while declaring Pyongyang a threat to the civilized world.
The era of strategic patience is over. Some people said that my rhetoric is very strong, but look what's happened with very weak rhetoric over the last 25 years. Look where we are right now.
And we have a new ABC News Washington Post poll to tell you about this morning. Take a look at these numbers. An overwhelming majority of Americans say they do not trust President Trump to handle North Korea. That number is 67%. As for the job that he is doing, 37% approve, 59% disapprove. Robin and George, he still enjoys strong support, overwhelming support from his base.
Okay, Cecilia, thanks very much. So it's too soon to talk about yesterday's killing. Las Vegas was 5 weeks ago.
And
Is that
said it was,
too soon?
You know, I also said it was too soon to talk policy, but was able to talk policy quickly after what happened here in New York City. We're going to have much more on the shooting just ahead, but for now we're going to turn to those dangerous tornadoes tearing through the Midwest. Ginger is tracking the system. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Robin. At least 8 reported tornadoes, including this major wedge tornado in Portland, Indiana. You can see the images there. And of course, the damage it left behind in Jay County, Indiana. 8 people in Salina, Ohio were injured thanks to storms that blew through there. We're going to have what happens after this coming up in just a moment. But first, we've got to get to the select cities now, brought to you by CarMax.
At CarMax, everything is honest and out in the open. Wow, that'll give you confidence. It does. That's why the prices are clearly marked. Our sales associates get paid the same no matter what car you buy. And you can estimate your monthly payment on CarMax.com. Wait, what? So CarMax doesn't hide that stuff? Nope, not a thing. That's great for cars. Yes, not great for ventriloquism. Well, that's your opinion. No, that's everyone's opinion.
This morning, I am tracking a powerful cold front that will bring some rain to the area, even some thunder this afternoon. But at least it's going to be mild highs today, upper 60s to lower 70s across the area. And then tomorrow, when Virginia voters get out, your best chance of rain, yes, rain again, will be in the afternoon. And look at how much cooler it will be. Highs around 50 degrees, probably our coolest in about 7 months across the area. We'll go from this cool pattern to cold by the weekend. Early morning temperature Saturday will be starting out in the 20s to lower 30s.
Coming up, we're live on the scene of the deadly church massacre, and the governor of Texas will join us live.
When I look in the mirror every day,
every day,
I think how fortunate I am.
I think, is today going to be the day?